Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Inflow Linko versus Root QXC, Game 1 in a best of 3 finals from a recent tournament that I was live casting in Fullerton, California. Inflow Linko spawning as the yellow Terran on the north side of the map, meanwhile Root QXC over here on the south side of the map as the purple Terran player. So QXC coming from the winner's bracket, meanwhile Inflow Linko coming from the loser's bracket. So if Inflow Linko is able to win this best out of 3, he will force a second best out of 3 against Root QXC and take first place in this tournament. Now there is a picture of me and Root QXC. It is on my Crota Facebook. Go ahead and check it out. Just search for Crota on a fan page and you should be able to find me fairly easily. We now see Root QXC moving out with a very early SCV scout. So this early SCV scout, in order to, I guess, determine what exactly is happening in this base. However, I believe, a second SCV also moving out now. So with double SCVs, it looks as though he's going to be going for a double proxy racks and trying to be very, very aggressive with early double racks into his base. However, I do not believe that Inflow Linko knows what exactly is happening. He's only going to be building his standard 1 rack so far. And if Inflow Linko does go for a refinery, he will be very much behind just because he will not be able to keep up with the production of QXC until he gets a later factory. We do see the refinery now coming in, so Linko already committing to trying to tech. Meanwhile, QXC, you can see that he does not have a refinery in his base at all. Will be able to mine out much more quickly, get higher saturation on these minerals, and then just get more minerals in order to pump out a lot of marines very, very quickly. So with this double racks play, as soon as one of these racks is done, I'm assuming that SCV will be coming up this ramp in order to do some scouting. Info Linko will not know for quite some time that there is going to be some cheese play coming in. And never mind, there is already one SCV making its way across the map. So Info Linko, as soon as he does this early scouting, he will realize that something is amuck and now try to figure out how to respond with this. In comes this SCV moving around doing some scouting, and now there is one Marine currently not chasing after this SCV. And QXC sees that the refinery is up. He's got to be smiling right now, knowing that he's going to have a very, very strong Marine advantage in just a moment. So now we have one SCV here, 2 more Marines now being trained. So it's going to be 3 Marines against the 2 Marines of Inflow Linko. And now he's able to pull away this one Marine and get him to chase him. Will he take this time, QXC, to run Marines up the ramp now? This one SCV trying to run away. It does not look like Linko is actually chasing with this SCV. And now, however, 2 SCVs now coming up the ramp as well. And it's going to be 3 Marines now running up and 3 Marines with 2 SCVs coming into play. This is going to be a very, very bad sign indeed as those SCVs do move a little bit more quickly. Some Marines now taking some damage as well, moving back and forth. SCVs back over here, and now both sides going to go ahead and move in and charge. There are 4 Marines over here, 5 Marines against 3 Marines here. There are a decent amount of SCVs. However, now a line of SCVs also joining in on this fight. QXC being very aggressive with this attack and moving out with these SCVs, making sure those SCVs now take that damage as well. SCVs now going after some more, and now Info Linko pulling SCVs off the mineral line in order to engage as well. The factory is still nearing completion, so it will be able to train up some Hellions, and those Hellions need to be completed in just a moment. However, SCVs continuing to push. Marines now trying to pull back once again, able to finish off and deal a lot of damage towards many of those SCVs. Income-wise, you see 8 Harvesters for QXC, 13 for Linko. However, income-wise, QXC is a little bit of an advantage right now as more of these SCVs are currently not mining. More Marines now trying to come in, so a large group of Marines now moving out. However, there is currently one Hellion coming online, and that Hellion moving out. SCV is desperately trying to repair that Hellion, doing a great job, and now finishing off one Marine and one Hellion, able to finish off, and one nice splash damage there, and the Hellion with that Marine able to hold off that harassment. We do see some Marines over here on the low ground, but I do not believe that these Marines will be able to walk up this ramp, especially as a second Hellion will be moving out. And now Linko with a very, very strong tech advantage. Not quite sure what QXC will be forced to do. We see another barracks being placed down here, which is very important. QXC needs to get production buildings down on this side of the map, especially if these Hellions make a run down over here. If those Hellions are able to just simply run up this ramp, there are no Marines in this position. Now you can see those Hellions dealing some damage across those Marines. Marines also taking some damage. There we go. Once again, taking more damage. That Marine able to get off 1 or 2 shots, and that is it. Hellions now making their way. He sees a double factory is lifting off over here, and now trying to make a way up this ramp. QXC responding by building another barracks and a bunker. So by getting a bunker here has completely sealed off this location. However, those SCVs will be vulnerable to attack. Those Hellions need to make their way up that ramp, perhaps deal some damage, focusing down some of those SCVs. One SCV will get torched there, another SCV will get torched here. Will it be enough? He needs to get more of these Hellions and onto this position. There is one Marine currently trying to be trained. Will these Hellions be able to deal enough damage towards this bunker? The bunker is not a light unit, so it does take, it only takes 8 damage, and now SCVs trying to come up. Those Hellions need to get back onto that ramp and finish off more of those SCVs, not getting those SCVs, and that's going to be a problem. If that bunker finishes, that Marine will be able to jump inside. There it goes, now jumping inside and able to hold off any of those Hellions once again, and it looks like QXC was able to buy himself enough time. However, Linko now building a starport, or no, not building a starport. The starport is partially completed, but does not have any SCVs currently building it. I'm not exactly sure why this is the case. He could be getting early medevacs, trying to do a drop inside the base. This would become a very, very effective strategy so far, as now the barracks making its way over here, as Linko now continuing to build more and more, and supply depots making sure he's not supply locked. One SCV only needing 9 units of time to finish the starport. And I think with that starport completed, that would give him a very, very strong advantage back. Hellion now returning home. We do see one Hellion activating this Onaga Watchtower, one activating this Onaga Watchtower as well. So double Onaga Watchtowers are activated. Linko having a significant map control. However, QXC with a command center here, or orbital command, and now taking his natural low ground expansion over at this location on the low side. So QXC will be able to get a strong economy going in just a moment. You can see both sides about the same number of harvesters. However, QXC getting a little bit more minerals just because he does not have full gas saturation. It looks like one of those Vespine, oh no, he has supply depot currently blocking his way. He just needs to lower that supply depot in order to get full saturation on this one refinery back over there. So even pros make mistakes. Back over here, currently running off of 4 barracks, 3 Marines inside this bunker here. As we also see Linko establishing his low ground expansion. QXC now taking some damage over here, and yes, this barracks is finally burning, will start to burn and take some significant damage. There are no SCVs nearby to repair it, so this barracks will get taken down. However, it has been able to keep a lot of sight and do a lot of scouting inside this base. The starport has now finally been completed, but I believe it's going to be too little too late in order to try to train up any medevacs in order to go for a drop. We do see some siege tanks. However, no siege tech just quite yet. A lot of gas currently sitting in for Info Linko, and Info Linko getting a lot of gas, however, finally getting enough minerals to research siege tech. One Hellion checking this backdoor location here. However, it is unable to see if this particular mineral batch is being mined. I think actually if this Hellion were to move right here, could it be able to get enough sight to actually, no, not click on this mineral patch? Oh, you can see that it is glowing. So that's one of the ways you can check. If you look at it right now, you can see that that mineral patch is glowing even though you can't click it. And that is one of the ways you can see if a particular expansion has been mined, is currently being mined. So very, very nice. Linko able to see the glowing mineral patches there and keep track of that. Once again, we now see Marauders moving out. And now Marauders moving out. Linko going to lose this one Hellion. That Hellion taking some damage there and now getting cleaned up finally. Down it goes. A second Hellion, if it doesn't move away, will also take some damage as well. However, we now see Marines and siege tanks moving out. Also a Viking moving out as well. So that Viking going to have some air superiority. That Hellion, once again, just taking a couple quick shots there. And now those Marauders quickly going to be moving away as siege tanks and Marauders coming in to deal damage. Down goes that Marauder, down goes one of those Marauders. A second Marauder down to 2 hit points. And there it goes as well. Now we do see a large group of Marines and Marauders moving out. The Marines have that combat shield and that stim pack. So combat shield and stim pack currently already researched as these Marines now walk up this ramp, doing a center scanner sweep here. Hard to keep track of who's scanner sweeping where, but I believe that was Linko trying to see if any units were moving out. A very, very nice partial stim with those Marines, making sure that he does not stim a full group there. And now a siege tank setting up here, able to get a lot of damage dealt across the board. One Marine finishing off another Marine coming back in. However, a larger group of Marines going to simply come in and try to shoot down that Marine. No, that Marine able to get the heck out of there relatively quickly. These siege tanks, however, are not going to be within firing range on these Marines and Marauders. So as these units come around this backside, they may be able to simply walk into the space. There are 2 Marines here, and that Marine able to freely walk walk up this ramp and get a full scouting report inside this base. A siege tank trying to get some damage across that marine. The marine already now stimming, able to just look around over here, make sure that there is no hidden tech buildings. And now that marine trying to get some damage. Will it be able to take out an SCV? No. A siege tank able to shoot it down first. However, we now have marines and marauders putting pressure on this backdoor location. These destructible rocks will get taken down relatively easily and very, very soon, as those marauders using those Punisher grenades are going to be able to deal 17 damage per attack. Normally, marines have a very difficult time. However, the addition of 2 marauders will significantly increase the decrease the time it takes to destroy these rocks. So these rocks now down to 0 hit points have been destroyed. Siege tanks are coming in over here, and now QXC not moving out with this group of units will buy some precious time for Linko. Linko now coming in, able to get off a very, very critical and blast right there. We're gonna lose this supply depot, but able to get off a couple critical shells onto this marauder group, and those marauders and marines will be forced to retreat, realizing that they cannot raid this mineral line back over here. 1 siege tank in position to try to hold off against that attack. Also, very nice position on this 1 supply depot. The supply depot giving just enough sight range for that siege tank there. Once again, you now see a group of marines and marauders moving back, and a command center being placed down by QXC. So QXC trying to take this 3rd base. As soon as he's able to upgrade this to a planetary fortress and then get 1 or 2 siege tanks, this will be very, very difficult in position for the other Terran player to bust. Linko, I'm not going to be able to bust this location as soon as this upgrades to a planetary fortress. However, QXC a little bit short on minerals at this time, so it does take 50 units of time in order for a command center to upgrade to a planetary fortress. Will he be able to get it up in time? That is just the question. We do see a Ghost Academy now coming online, cloaking already being researched, and now also able to build nukes as the factory is up. Another command center being built as well in order to take this 4th base. A group of siege tanks, marines, and marauders now on the move. Medevacs now moving out. The planetary fortress has yet to be upgraded, so it does not look like it will be caught off guard. Marauders doing a good job trying to focus down siege tanks, as the siege tanks are the weak part of that army, as those medevacs could have healed any damage dealt across those marines and those marauders. Planetary fortress finally being upgraded, but that may be too little, too late. Siege tanks now once again trying to engage, able to deal a lot of damage once again to more of those siege tanks, and now 1 siege tank in this position, able to start blasting away, will be able to deal damage over here. Marines now trying to come into position, marines blasting away and dealing damage towards this command center. Command center already very low on hit points, but in come 2 ghosts. Those ghosts are going to be dealing 20 damage per attack against those marines. They do not attack that quickly, but that is a very, very high amount of damage, and relatively, as those ghosts now continue to move around, are those ghosts going to be able to deal enough damage towards those marines? Those ghosts now trying to move out, doing a little bit of chasing once again. These ghosts do not have that much energy, not going to be able to snipe, perhaps be able to launch a nuke in this location here. It does look like 1 ghost now trying to move out. No, not going to be able to launch a nuke. Is the nuclear silo even armed at this stage in the game? No, it is not armed, so we are not going to see any nukes just quite yet. The command center was lifted off, and now the planetary fortress once again trying to be re-established. Ghost in this location and this location. Level 1 weapons upgrade has been completed, and you already see 1 nuke now being armed at that silo. Takes 60 seconds of time, as a starport also being built. Another planetary fortress in this location as well. EMP shockwave hitting all of those medevacs. Nicely done by that ghost. So that ghost able to deplete all the energy on those medevacs will make this marine marauder siege tank push much more difficult, as the marauders and marines will not be able to use Stimpack nearly as freely. 1 SCV moving over into this location will quickly find a a command center now trying to be landed. Most likely will be upgraded to a planetary fortress. There we go. And now as it's upgraded to a planetary fortress, that location will be very, very difficult to break as well. Planetary fortress, as I stated, in many games, has 3 base armor. So marines, even with level 1 weapons upgrade, only deals 4 damage per attack against a unit that has 1500 hit points. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Root QXC and Inflow Linko here on Jungle Basin.